So tonight, we are going to tear down, me and my other daughter are going to tear down this 4L6D. It's been built recently, had a converter failure, I think. A lot of times a converter failure, you'll see it. Like there will be a ring because the lockup clutch fails and then, heat checks all this. Doesn't look like that. Gonna probably see some torn up stuff inside of it and hopefully entertain y'all. First thing, pocket screwdriver. You gotta take off this O-ring, otherwise when you go to pull the pump out, it won't come out, and that'll be exciting. Take the bell housing off first. These are Torx plus 50. They're not Torx 50, they're Torx 50 plus 50, whatever you want to call them. If you use a Torx 50, they will strip. And that'll be really fun to try to pull out. I mostly use air for teardown. I feel it's superior because it has more RPM. That might bother the Milwaukee crew. This is the band servo, the 2.4 band. I take this off first before pulling all the guts out because you have the weight of the transmission to hold it all in place. I feel it's easier. Pry that O-ring out and this should slide out. Don't ask me what all these individual servos and seals are. I don't remember. I'd have to have a book in front of me. That's okay. I was told that you don't have to understand it for it to work right. You just have to follow direction. Take the pan bolts off.
It's bleeding.
Come on. Yeah, you see, I don't know if it captures on the camera, but like the glitter already.
Yeah, you can kind of see it.
Oh, that's a good sign. You see, that's a roller bearing. That's a piece of a planet, I think.
Is that a good thing?
No.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So.
I assume that black is not good?
It's not the black. It's we call that a Don King. When the magnet looks like Don King, that normally promotes money. In this case, it's a comeback. So it promotes free work for me. So. Tip that over. That's not draining right. So get that going down the hole. Alright. And what do I want? 10mm pocket screwdriver. Get the lockup solenoid out of the way. Well, there's actually two. I think this is the PWM, and then that's the on-off lockup solenoid. Pry that out of the pump. If you don't pry that out of the pump, you take all the pump bolts out, you pry the pump forward, then you break that. That's exciting to do that, because then you ruin the harness. Valve body has to come off before that can come out of the case, unless you took the EPC off. Should have been on a NASCAR crew, but my knees are bad. Usually you can get this off in one shot. You just go up, two, dang.
Second time's a charm, I guess?
Yes. If it's a fresh one and it's a plastic, piston, they'll come off in one shot, but that's an aluminum one. We upgrade those when we build them. The plastics don't always break, but they are cheap enough. We'll put a aluminum one in because I've just never seen an aluminum one break. Am I missing one? No, we're just stuck. Alright. That's valve body. Valve body or no body. Pick up the ball bearings or the check balls. And then take off this support. Maybe I'll do another video with an actual, take my time, explain it all more, so I'll try to just touch on the high points. It's probably drained by now. You can throw that away. And I'll get this out of the way. Yes, my daughter is wearing eye protection because you don't want to, I don't know, I'm not too proud to try to keep stuff out of my eyes, you know. Yeah, this is, hopefully we just have soft part damage, the pump isn't ruined, we can reman the pump ourselves, that's not a big deal. And then you take a old 4L80E, or that's a Turbo 400 center support bushing, and you can stick it on there and twist it a lot of the times, and then taparoo. Comes off if you're lucky. Nope, it's not gonna. There you go. And wash that and save that. And now we can take the pump out. Yeah, I know where all those go. This is probably the 873rd 4L60 I've torn down, like no exaggeration. And then that should come off. Here's where we might see a little damage, aka money. Shockingly, even though the torque converter is down in this, I believe it's down. We'll see. The pump surface is not damaged. What'll happen is where these where the rotor and the 13 vanes are, it will get, metal will get in there and it'll just groove up this whole area right here. But it looks good, so that's a little less money to repair this comeback. Come on, get off the bench. IDK, my BFF Jill. Oh, that's the slide. That looks good. A lot of times if something's down, it'll groove up all that and knock the coating off that, and you get to replace that. There's that. And then I'm going to wedge this off the band pin. Get off of there. There you go. This is the 2/4 band. It's like impregnated with whatever has failed. I don't know if you can see the steel in there from whatever has failed, jammed into the band, so that'll get replaced. This is the input drum, forward drum, whatever you want to call it. This is the reverse input drum. Just what I call them. These clutches are probably going to be good. No. Showing some heat from... When things fail, what happens is, when things fail, if it makes enough material to go into this filter and block the filter, then the pump doesn't make the pressure it's supposed to, and then clutches slip, and then that shows up as heat, you know, where they're a little bit darker. So that'll all get replaced. Darn it, Bobby. All right. Then pop the piston out of the reverse input drum. I used to talk a lot of trash about 4L60s and make a lot of memes about them, but I kind of matured and realized that they are a fairly decent transmission, and that when I work on them, I normally have like 250,000 miles on them, so like you can't really complain about that if you really think about it. Like, it's 250,000 miles, that's 10 times around Earth, so they're really not a terrible transmission. Use gravity as our friend, get this spacer and roller bearing off. We can check this to see if it's got a leak in it. What you do is you apply air and see if it leaks around the splines. We used to think this is why they'd kill the 3/4s, but see how there's no bubbles actively coming out between the input shaft and the forward drum, so that drum's good. But yeah, we used to think that was what killed 3/4 clutches. Learned later that it's normally a pump or valve body problem, a leak there that kills 3/4 clutches, or just age. So we'll get this apart. Ooh, I already see a problem. This, you can see the front of this has touched down inside there, so there's going to be a bearing down somewhere in this front half. So we'll come look at that. Yeah, that's a glazed. Yeah, see, we're picking out pieces of bearing now, so those are all done. That was, it came out of an Escalade. It had 7 clutches. So it's a 4L65, what people call them, I think. That's not that bearing. Yeah, here's the, those are the coasts. Here's the forward clutches. They call them forward because they're on in every forward gear. How like that. The hotter ones are in the middle, like the middle of the pack, like, you know, the subjected to the most heat, whereas closer towards the ends it's a little cooler. So that's why the middle ones look. So the reason that is so it probably started to fail in forward gears. You know, any gear 1 through 4, if the filter was clogging, as it was losing pressure, the vehicle's trying to move down the road, but there's not making enough pump pressure, so that's why those clutches show heat. We can reuse these coast ones because those aren't even touched. Take this drum apart.
Bet you they call it a drum because it's like a drumstick.
What?
I said, I bet they call it a drum because it's like a drumstick.
That could be. That could be why they call it a drum. Yeah, there. Let's see if I can catch this in the mouth. Come on, baby. There we go. I like to put the snap ring in there so you don't lose it. You give it a little spritz with some air on this bottom one, and just like that. Some builders go, bam, knock it all out. I just prefer to use air to do that, because then you don't smack this on the corner and ruin it. Well, it's already ruined anyway. Those are probably good, those pistons. Wash that. Alright, that drum's going to be bad because you see where right here it has clearly, whatever separates that from that has failed, and you can see the witness mark where there. We're going to see a bearing down in here. This is all shiny because it's hit something that's the front planet ring gear. Alright, so this is going to be bad. Crack the sprag apart. That'll go again if I can get this off. See if I can put that into my palm. Nope. Hand wash that. Put this back in here. Hopefully this snap ring doesn't make me look dumb. Oh no. Are you gonna fight me? Oh, there we go. Yep. Oof. Yeah. There was a bearing that goes right there, and that whole planet is destroyed, knocked teeth off the planet. I don't know what could have caused that. It could have just been this bearing, which there's also another location in this transmission. Yeah, that's the output shaft bearing as well. I'll show you what it should have looked like. Yeah, we're picking pieces of bearing off the outside of that. That is not good when you have bearings falling out like that. And who knows, maybe the bearing failed. Maybe we thought the bearing was good and reused that one and it just wasn't, or no real rhyme or reason. But it's the problem. It's not the problem. It's just the name of the game with transmissions. Sometimes all it takes is one component to just totally ruin everything. That's not gonna happen. Oh, it started to come. This will probably all be good back here. Yeah, this is the same bearing. That's what it's supposed to look like, but as you can see, it is not like that. This is what all those pieces are right there, is those things. So they've just completely come apart, and then what happens is things, when bearings go down, they come out of place. Like this is supposed to, be all the way in there, but when that fails, it goes deeper than it's supposed to, starts knocking the teeth off the planets, blends up metal, ruins a bunch of stuff. So the only thing left I got to take out of there is the rear piston. Those clutches are good. I'm going to save those. So these are the low reverse clutches. The reason these clutches more than likely look good is that the failure happened, and primarily you drive in forward. You drive in, you're driving down the road forward, you're not backing up. So the owner probably didn't try to back up a whole bunch after the failure occurred. So that's why the low reverse clutches look good. It's like the scene of the crime is, transmissions talk to you. They're gonna tell you how it failed most of the time. I don't claim to know everything. It always cracks me up. Like engine builders will look at stuff sometimes and they'll be like, "Oh, this is without a doubt lean," or "This is without a doubt, an injector problem," or "Not my fault, definitely not my fault." But it's like, I have no problem admitting what I don't know. But this one is obvious. A bearing failed. Why did that bearing fail? I don't know. Can't tell you that, but that's the smoking gun right there. Get all these in a pile. I can put that back together. Come on, baby. And then hand wash that. Throw this in the case washer. Oops. That's a good. Here's how you tell if this thrust washer is good. You'd go like that, and this one's not good. You can usually...
I thought it was gonna stop.
No, not in this case. So that means that got hot. That's like a good, not a good test, but just what transmission builders do sometimes. They'll be like, oh, can you bend it? If you can bend it still, it's good. That one is not good. So yeah, that's trash. This is trash. Ironically, I have piles of front planets. The rear planets are the ones that are normally bad. So we'll go through this, wash it out, replace what's bad, and replace all the soft parts, put it back together, and sell it to somebody else when another 99 to 06 4L6D comes in the shop. I need to find the... I can dig that up later. No, I'll show you how to do that. You grab the reverse piston. People be like, he ain't gonna pull it out. He's just gonna spray it out with brake clean. No, I'm gonna pull it out. I'm gonna put it in the case washer. Hopefully this goes smooth. There's a piston in the bottom of the case, and then this goes in there and the lugs, pushes it down. I don't know if you can see the opening in the snap ring right there. When we build them, we try to put the opening in an easy to access place. And then you go like this. And you kind of like, you go down and open it and then walk one side up, and then you just peel it off the rest of the way. Oh, looks like a genius.
First try.
Beginner's luck. And then sometimes the spring gets cocked in there like it is, and you step back and then you pop it loose and maybe it'll come up and fly up. Oh god, it's like a loaded...
Oh, it flew
just
up.
like that. Like a loaded hand grenade. I saw a video one time where a guy had like a long flathead, and he like popped it, and he got the biggest kick out of it. He's like, ha ha ha! Some old guy. And then you pop it right here.
Whoa, that was loud.
And then there's proof. I promise I'm gonna clean all behind it, because there's gonna be metal behind all that. Do the same thing. So this one will need a input drum, which this is a unique one. Well, here, I'll show you. This is like a 6-month only pump, where it has the provision for the input speed sensor. And if you can see, it's got a double, band, whatever you want to call it. We screwed this up before. This is like, whatever this came out of was originally built probably in September 05 to like January 06. And if you notice, I don't know if you can capture it, but look at it down from the side. See the height of the ceiling rings. This is deeper relative to this one over here. And that, what changes is inside the stator tube, the height of the ceiling rings where all the oil comes through for the, I believe that's low, reverse, that's forward, and that's 3/4 clutch, or maybe vice versa. I can't freaking remember. But what happens is if you use the wrong stator, so I'm going to have to either press this shaft out or throw this pump out, or find the correct pump to go with this new input shaft, because this is probably going to have to do. So you can see them side by side, how this one is all chipped up at the front and cruddy because that bearing went down, and this went deeper and touched down on, where'd I put it? If that was a snake, it would have bit me. Yeah, right there. You can see right there, because that bearing went down, this was touching. They're not supposed to touch ever. So I'm gonna have to replace this. That will be okay. Anyway, I could ramble on for 15 more minutes about 4L6Ds, but I won't. But that is what the inside of a 4L6D with a bad front planet to ring gear hub bearing looks like. So hope that was informative and I didn't confuse everybody. That's it.